Then,
So,
do we have our cups ready? Oh, Eve is there.
yes.
Yes.
Cheers,
So
everyone.
cheers, welcome,
Great to see you.
welcome. Beautiful cups, beautiful people, beautiful tea inside. Thanks for joining once again to explore
Sylvia, come.
together. And
Hey, Ev.
yeah,
That beautiful smile. I love it. I
cheers.
miss it. Hi, Sylvia.
Hi.
Oh, hello. Hello, everybody. So nice to see you.
Yeah. Also a new hairstyle, it seems.
Oh, no, just like I washed it today. And, fresh.
And hey, Amber. Okay, so beautiful to see you guys. I think we can start now, and whoever is joining us, they'll just jump in. So today we have this interesting topic that came this week, and it's about what we allow to happen in our life, and what is it to which we kind of readily say yes, and to what we say no. And when we do it, if we do this consciously or unconsciously, what are these drives underneath? And obviously we have this explanation that, oh, but this doesn't feel right, so I don't feel it, or, I'm kind of going to pass this experience and I will say yes to that I inside feel is right for me. But what we found out is that just allowing you to kind of call this your intuition can be a little bit deceiving, because there are more elements that are at play when we say yes or no to things that just our intuition. And mostly what we seem to be after are experiences that will seem pleasurable. So we are looking to say yes to things that bring pleasure and that feel nice, and we try to avoid things that we either don't see how they're going to be pleasurable, or that they're going to be straightly difficult. Yet,
So, well, yet we are making like 1,000 choices per day about everything, about what food, where to go, what to eat, what to buy, where to live. So we have sort of, including us, we have completely underestimated the choice making, really precise mechanism of choice making, which ends up by having a yes or no as the end result of the decision making to whatever comes your way from the world, or whatever decisions are you proposing to the world. So how are we receiving the events, and we kind of, imagine there's a line in the middle, and you on the left is yes and on the right is no. So everything that comes your way you would put either on the left or on the right. There's no, the maybe doesn't stay. Maybe is like a waiting room. The maybe will eventually have to transfer to yes or no. So that yes and no defines our whole life experience. And the flow of it and the content of it. So it's very curious how little did we pay attention to understand what are we really saying yes to or no to, from which place. What do we call intuition, what do we call premonition, and how would it be the most aligned to provide us the best possible human experience of life.
yeah. And so the big point that we are understanding lately is that actually almost like the meaning of our life experience is saying yes to life, and kind of living really kind of an engaged, honestly, fully engaged living, and really kind of stopping avoiding things, because by now we are kind of we have built a certain frequency in our being, and the experiences are coming our way because we need to face them. And when they come our way, they're there to teach us something, and they're there to, bring certain amount of problems that we are ready to deal with. And if we kind of make this wall around us and we say, well, no to this, and that, and in this case, maybe yes, but I'll decide at that moment. If we have that wall around us, actually the learning experiences are not allowed to come in a normal way. So what they will have to do is to break through the wall. And breaking through the wall means that there would be super kind of life disturbing experiences, such as accidents or like big things that we cannot avoid but to face. So what we have found is that we better say yes to a little bit more gentle experiences, because they are there to teach us something without much noise.
And in this regard, we would like to ask you a question. If you think back to your best life's experience or life-changing something, there was a certain decision that you said yes to or you said no to. So can you think of how would it be if you would have said no instead of yes, and where did it bring you? For example, when you said yes for, I don't know, quitting the job or changing the country. And
yeah. Have you had the big decision where you said yes to life and then
but
something...
you were scared, and because it's unsure, uncertain.
So we would like to hear some of your experiences where you said yes and something big has shifted.
Or you said yes and you...
Or you said
you
no.
thought I should have better said no.
Exactly. Yes.
And if you can catch that feeling, from which place, was it an absolute certainty, or you said yes but actually you meant no? So your thoughts and impressions around that, if anyone is ready to share. Uwe and Miriam then.
I have had in 2005, I remember I was very happy with my work actually, but then I was very disappointed from my boss. I was so disappointed that I said I quit the job. It's just not happening anymore. I was so disturbed by this, and then I applied for a job in Africa, and I remember it was a long process actually. It was a very long process. It took about 3 months or even more in order to get the job in Zimbabwe. As a development aid worker, there was a long period, and by the end they said, yes, you are going, we decided that you are going. And then it was kind of shocking. It was like, I was working towards that goal somehow, but it was shocking because then I had all this anxiety, wow, Africa, and Zimbabwe, and how will that turn out? And I remember I was sitting in the train and I was like, wow, shall I really go? Shall I really dare to do that? Is that something, and so I was really torn apart. But then at that moment, I was going inside me kind of, and I was thinking, is this what you want? And then I said yes. And so I'm going to Africa now. I'm going to Zimbabwe now. And it wasn't the easy decision. And also I had to let go, all the things I had here, all this known environment and all this situation, comfort zone, so to say, and then saying yes to that I had to let go. And also there was a lot of tears, and so I also, something fell off me, something really heavy, which was very unexpected. I didn't expect that. When I internally said this yes, it was incredible what happened. And then what happened then was sheer amazing. I'm so happy for that experience. I could not even. And now I was so disappointed from my boss and angry at him. and then that also transformed. I was very happy. I know that he needed to do that in order for me to go there. This is very, very important to understand. I mean, like later we always connect the dots in hindsight, right? So, and that was it was an incredible experience.
And then you also said yes to Joy and Magic, right?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. I love this moment that you're mentioning, that at the moment when you committed yourself to that yes, that some heavy load fell off your back. That's a really interesting point.
We will explain that later, what happens in that moment.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Miriam wanted to go next, then Hannah. And then
Sylvia.
Sylvia. Miriam.
Yeah, I remember like big choices that I made, or big moments that I had to change my life, was either after a dream, when I woke up, when I was working as a nurse, I was still in training, and I woke up and I knew I'm going to quit, and not ever had I think about it to quit, but it was just sure. I was never doubting anymore. And also later, when I had my first paid job, and when I got it, I said to myself, I hope that I can stay true to myself, that if it doesn't fit any longer, that I just quit my job, even if I don't have anything else. And after a few years, it was like that, with all the bigger, how do you say, changes that were going on in the youth care. And so one day I was walking, and all of a sudden I knew I'm going to quit, and it made me so happy. And the next day, immediately, I just said, I'm quitting. And then new work came to me, so it's, somehow, I'm not suffering for a long time. It just, at some point, it just hits me. And I remember when I moved to the house that I still have in Holland that I'm renting out, that was a big step, because it was from a nice place in the city where I loved the people, but my house was too small and I needed space, to this bigger house. But I think I told it once already, in a tea, that friends were saying, but if you're doubting, why would you do that? And I knew deep inside, this chance, I won't get this again, to get such a beautiful big house out in the countryside, near the river, near the woods. I have to say yes, even though the environment doesn't attract me at all, with the neighbors, let's say, with the people. And I said yes, and it was amazing. Yeah, so I also felt that the people who were trying to hold me back were kind of, as you say, like the voices before you, to really make you decide, yes, but this is what I want, to sharpen it even. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I had some big things in my life, but they just somehow they came from either from a dream or from a deep knowing that I just say, yes, this is my time, I have to do this. Yeah.
Ah, beautiful.
Yeah.
And when I'm rejecting, like I knew when I was in Holland, and I decided to go to Bali, I read about Ratu Bagus, the shaking ashram, and I said, maybe that's probably good for me, but I kind of forgot about it until I ended somewhere with my motorbike, and I didn't know the way anymore, and I asked somebody there, and they told me, oh, you have to go there and there. I said, by the way, what is this? All of a sudden I saw this big thing. He said, well, this is the ashram of Ratu Bagus. I thought, oh my God. And so then the next day I came there, and I stayed for 10 days shaking, because I knew, okay, life brought me here. Even though I was resisting, forgetting, I just had to go. So I feel I'm guided anyway, Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love this, that guidance comes once that you have made the decision and left already. Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hannah?
I think Hannah goes next. Yes.
I made a few of my bigger decisions in my life out of the blue. So it was just like thoughts that come in, and then they feel so exciting that I just decided. Like when I was 16, I wanted to go for a language exchange, and I had this catalog, and I was kind of looking through it, and it was a country I didn't even know where it was at the time. So it was Uruguay. So I was like, within 2 minutes, I was like, well, I don't know nothing about it. I think I'm gonna go. And I was like 16, spoke like hola and qué tal, that was it. And I had no idea what I was getting myself into. And same like with India, like I had, like it was 2 a.m. in the morning, I had a roommate and we couldn't sleep and we were thinking about traveling. And then suddenly we came up with traveling to India. And that decision was made like within 5 minutes. And also that was pretty much a tough ride because we went like backpacking and cheap and made all the mistakes we could have made. Yeah, so there are a few bigger decisions like leaving everything I own behind. A friend like said, because I was like, oh, I want to stay in Bali, but I can't afford paying both flats. And she was like, well, maybe you don't have two flats, just let that go. And that was a thought I didn't even have. It was so out of my, that's what people do. But then she said it was kind of made sense. It's like, okay, I think I will do so. And I made a few calls, and within 5 minutes, all of the big furniture I could have gifted to some friends and family. So it's like usually thoughts that I haven't pondered upon for weeks, but they just drop in either from myself or others, and then they feel good, and I say yes. And that's the good thing that I've said yes, because then the bumpy ride starts sometimes. But it's a funny bumpy ride. It's a one worth going on. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, exactly. That's a very good example of where from the mind you would have said no if you considered all the elements carefully. It would be a no, but then you didn't have time to get the whole mind discourse on the way, and you said yes, and the deal was sealed. And it's too late.
Yeah,
But that's
you
such
tell
a
people about it and there's no way back.
but such a great example also that the mind would have known for the reason that's totally not relevant, that you have two apartments. All of a sudden you managed in 10 minutes to kind of get out of that deal. It's like, but the mind thinks it's a big obstacle. So it's so untrustworthy, and the mind is kind of weighing in. So cool.
Yeah, or even with I think Uruguay was one of the decisions that I was doubting when I was there. I was like, oh, holy moly, what did I get myself into? Because at the time the family was super poor. I didn't understand a word. I thought, well, everyone speaks English. No, they didn't speak one word English. So I was running around for 2 months with a dictionary to kind of try to learn it, and it worked, but it was tough. Like the climate was super hot that year, and the standard was like really simple, like no hot water, nothing really, like the mattress doesn't really exist. It was so poor, but it was amazing after all. So, but better I didn't know before.
Sometimes it's like that, isn't it? We better don't know what we're getting ourselves into, yeah?
Yeah, because that brings the spice and color to life. Exactly, that unexpected ingredient.
And also there's a rule that you will not be given the experience by the universe that you're not ready for. So it's just impossible. You'll get the experience that you're exactly ready for. And by the way, that's the fastest way to learn a language. You get to a place and then nobody speaks what you know. So it's steep curve, but it's fast and efficient. Ah, very cool. Thank you, Hannah.
Thank you, Hannah.
Beautiful.
So, Sylvie.
Sylvia.
Oh, I haven't thought of this experience since long time. I got pregnant when I was 22, and I had a really sweet relationship with my actually then fiancé. And when I uh, when I find out that I was pregnant, my first reaction was no, I can't be pregnant. And anyway, on that day, this really good friend of mine called me on the phone saying that she bought a new amazing thing that was the tarot card. I think I told you this story, but I never said that it was actually, my question was about the pregnancy. So anyway, she bought this tarot deck. I had no idea what it was, but she said that it can answer to questions. So I said, okay, I'll be there. Anyway, I was there with this question in my heart. I didn't even feel saying this to my friend, but I pulled one card and then I just got this amazing message. So when I went home, I I don't know why. Well, I know now. I know why, but then I didn't know why. I just felt I needed just to sit down and speak with this child. And I told, I think it was a girl. I told her my honest truth that I wasn't ready, and even if I got married to my fiance, I knew that our marriage wouldn't last for too long and it wouldn't be a happy way for her. And that I felt that I would blame her for many things and I couldn't be a good mother. And for the next morning, I had a miscarriage and I felt so grateful to be able to speak my truth, that that's a no that I felt then. And and it was also a very significant feeling of that there is something. Well, first, the amazing experience with the tarot that definitely set me up for a journey with it. But beyond that, about souls, I suddenly understood that we are deeply connected as souls, and that I could heart to heart speak with that soul, and that changed a lot for me as a person, and as I look at birth and death. So that's the other part of the tarot story.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's very, very interesting, because when we're looking at these crucial life decisions, well, you know that yes and no are the two sides of the coin. So a no can be a yes to something, like important no is an important yes for something else. So an important yes is also an important no for something else. So as long as we choose our side with this, how you said, with all your heart, you felt integrity of the decision. So that no was actually a yes for this life that you're having right now.
Yeah, thank you.
So sometimes we have to say an honest and inspired no to say yes to our destiny, our future, our life. Amazing. Yeah. Well, then let's see a little bit from which place we actually wanted to explore altogether this very obvious, decision-making fact, but to see really, really from where those yeses and nos are coming in a kind of slowed down view. Because you shared really a crucial moments, and they all had this one element that I can identify, which was some sort of a deep knowing that was suddenly very clear. There was no doubt, and the doubt came after. Or the doubt came before, but in the moment of actually saying, there was an integrity, there was a united field where heart and mind completely agreed for that 1 second. And then probably, mind starts jumping and panicking. The heart says, but okay. But the life already takes another turn. So on a daily basis, when we have some events, so as we said, that one line in the middle, automatic decision making is, I will say yes to what promises to be pleasant, and I'll say no to what might sound challenging or complicated or or unpleasant in any ways. So that's the basic. When you don't think, this is how you choose. You don't choose the food you don't like, right? So you say no to things that you don't like how it tastes. You say yes to what you like. You say no to people who are not pleasant in your life. You say yes to your friends and family and people that you enjoy. So
And specifically no to people who could actually challenge and have completely different point of view.
yeah.
And then might trigger some things. So
So very rarely we go to concerts that are completely out of our comfort zone and music that we don't like, because we don't want to engage in experience that is not already part of our system. So let's say if a friend asks you to come to kind of a modern techno festival, you would think about saying yes or no to that proposition according to how you feel about the music, and you're completely blacking out like what else could happen in that environment. So there's always this superficial layer of decision making is about the preference of the element that is identified in a proposition. So if it's about invitation to a concert where you don't like the music, well, you will base your decision according to the preference, yes or no, of the music, but not of the event as a whole thing. So when we're looking for this wholesome experience of life, we should look a little deeper and to stop those moments where decision, when you have an invitation for experiencing something, should it be a dinner with a friend, catching up with a group, being invited to the place you don't know, kirtans, concerts, to be able to say a clear yes or no, you have to really stop the moment and look at the whole experience beyond your preference for the element that you have identified in the question.
Because that element is also kind of our imagining what the experience is going to be. There's absolutely no way that we can imagine, but we still imagine, oh, but this is going to be people associated with this type of music. These people I normally don't connect with well. So, if we are trying to make that mind picture what it's going to look like, we can already start to doubt it. Because that way, it's possible that we will not allow new things to happen, because some interesting thing can happen on our way there. And that's maybe why we are even invited. We might not even arrive to the concert. Maybe, we'll meet somebody and then kind of change the direction of the whole event. So that's what Evia means by the whole event.
So for example, if I'm invited to Belgium, sorry Ev, if I'm invited to Belgium, I wouldn't necessarily feel as excited as if I was invited to Santorini in Greece or somewhere warm, yeah?
So you like Greece more than Belgium?
I do!
How about chocolate? Okay.
Well, this is let's take this it's very simple, of course, because invitation to Belgium would take immediately the overlay of what I think about the weather or gastronomy or boiled potatoes or things like that. So I would base my yes or no according to what I have ever heard. I have never been to Belgium
so prejudices,
to even say about it. So I would be very, very partial and not complete.
But you can speak about Poland actually, because this is actually what did happen.
Poland was actually the thing, really. I was so resistant because of many kind of images that I was holding in my head. So I even less wanted to go to Warsaw in December than I would love to explore Belgium. But when you say yes and no to your own idea about the thing, well, you are very far from the truth of what experience can bring. And believe me, when we still decided to say yes to that Poland in December, Warsaw, right before Christmas, I was still the last moment. We're standing in the line for check-in, and I'm looking, this weather forecast on the Ryanair screen. Poland, like -5, snow. This Tel Aviv, 25 and sun. And I was like, oh, you're sure? Like, because like everything in the system says no, but based on criteria of preference. Yes, I prefer warm and sunny instead of cold and. But then when the yes is kind of maintained and said, well, the experience is life changing, and even that weather then becomes a part of the beautiful experience. And actually, I completely loved Warsaw, and changed my whole idea about it.
And you're right, Miriam, with your question. It's important from which place a person is asking you to come. The person who invited us is a super aligned person that we kind of can say that we trust her intuition as much as we trust ours. And that aspect of it was amazing.
So we trusted more the we're saying, okay, that person, because the resistance to that mental idea was so strong that we had to, it was not possible to clearly feel a yes from any other space, because the mind would say no and no way.
Yet in the first moment when we got that invitation, it was, oh great, she's inviting us, it's going to be cool to be together anywhere around Christmas time. And then the mind came with like projections. What is Warsaw in winter like, yeah? So and this comes for everything. If a friend asks you to go out and have a chat, and you don't particularly like or enjoy that company, there are two ways to go about it. You can think, oh, I don't really feel like, because she's always talking too much, or she's boring, or she'll bring up her boyfriend stories. But if you decide to say yes to experience that, in the mind, based on the past kind of events and all analysis and statistics that mind provides you for decision making, if you decide to say yes anyways, actually this is where you become creator of your experience. And that same person that is boring or talking too much about her relationships or something actually becomes the channel of the universe, because you decided to show up for something that is not obvious, yet it has come your way. So there must be something. And if you manage to see the thing as universe talking to you, and not the person going on about the mean ex-boyfriend, then you'll hear what you need to hear, because this is exactly what you're ready to hear in that moment. And it's not even so difficult to be there. All that is needed is to put this command and say, may the universe speak to me through this person that I'm about to meet. So even in your head or out loud, this is capable of changing the experience 180 degrees.
And dwell a little bit in examples of your own life. How many times you would have rather said no, but you said yes to something that didn't feel appealing or right, and you had such a great time. And it was completely different than you expected. And none of those doomsday predictions in your head actually was true. The reality turned out to be completely different from what when somebody literally drags you somewhere and you're resisting, and after all, it's so much fun. And the other way around, where you have persuaded yourself, yes, this is a cool party, yes, these are great people, yes, where everything was very promising, and it turned out to be completely off.
So when you were invited to that place that you didn't want to go, if it ended up not feeling right and actually being awful, is when we keep resisting. So when we keep hypnotizing ourselves into saying, this is awful, I don't want to be there, what am I doing here, and kind of continuing that mind movie that was going on from the beginning. So the crucial moment was making a decision to be open for it and to say, may the universe speak to me through all of these people. This is literally what turns it around. So we don't want to stay in that mind movie, because it's going to literally put the glasses on, and through those glasses everything will look and feel awful.
Mm-hmm. Because what happens actually when we keep repeatedly refusing the offers from the universe, yeah, those people inviting, and Miriam, that goes along your question, yeah, so you constantly receive universe interacting with you, or you are reaching out, but all the invitations or propositions that come your way, well, this is actually universe trying to invite you, invite life in, because we are very, very creatures of habit, there's no mystery about it. No matter how spiritual, we're still creatures of habit. So we're, we have established our little perimeter that we like, and we're doing things within that, or little above, because it takes too much energy to expand. But at some point, the energy in that little perimeter becomes stale, and the universe is wanting to, invite you for something new, give you new vibes or new upgrades. And this is when it sends invitation through people, through invitations, through unexpected events, through sudden ideas. It can be your own ideas that you have to say yes or no to, like going to visit somewhere, not going to this place or the other. So this is how universe is trying to bring something fresh inside. Mm-hmm. And as a flow, if you keep that line on choosing what's predictably pleasant, or saying no to what's predictably unpleasant, actually the universe will stop asking, altogether, and you'll have less and less of aliveness in your life. And those experiences, sometimes people are looking actively for fun, and they're not having fun anywhere. Even in the middle of a bursting party, they're not having fun, because they have somehow closed inside the possibility of doing something, challenging or weird or out of their comfort zone. And this is where it becomes very flat.
Amber, that's a great question. So Amber is saying that she has been constant yeser, even if she really wanted to say no. And is there a quick way to check and to make sure that following your true self, you're doing all patterns? Mm-hmm. There is, Amber. It's really a great question. That's actually what we wanted to share.
Yeah.
There are a few ways to go about that. Go ahead.
Yeah. So this turns into this what I just said, that you're constantly being invited to live experiences, from your own head, or from people around, or from circumstances. So when we have to react to that invitation, that's where it actually gets complicated and important, because for those big yes that brought you on a fantastic kind of life-turning event, you had this coherence of heart and mind, and you felt it and you didn't doubt it in that moment. But as Amber says, your mind says yes, the heart says no, or it's not quite sure if it says anything. If we are saying these yes but no, well, we're saying actually basically no. So we're getting a very strange experience, because actually we should have said no, because we were not ready for this, but we had said yes. So it's this, like a strident sound. It's like, something is off tune. So in any ways, whether it's a clear no or a clear yes, there has to be a heart and mind coherence. It's a collective decision of both of your parts that needs to shine through and be part of the decision making. Even for a very simple, where to go for food. Because if you say yes to an odd idea of your own self, to go in a cafe that you have never visited, and you don't doubt it, maybe there's someone you need to meet there, or maybe you're gonna discover something that you can then recommend to other people. And when you feel that there's a moment in your life that you're going to the same places, you're seeing the same people, well, this is the moment to actually listen to those little ideas in the head and say no to something that you haven't tried yet. New food, new place, new people, new circle.
You mean say yes to that?
Yeah.
You said to say no. You say yes.
Well, to say no to the same things, yeah?
Yeah.
When you say no to the same things, you open to something new, because we always need this renewed energy where actually higher degree of experience can come in.
So actually that question that Amber is asking, is there a quick way to see if you are saying yes out of obligation to say yes, or where is the heart and mind coherence? Long-term solution is really to learn the frequency of your heart and how it feels. What is my heart and mind coherence feeling like? So if we are saying no, you will see that you're lying to that heart-mind coherence, because you're saying no out of yes out of obligation to not say no. But before you have learned, I mean, we learn heart-mind coherence, how it feels like, by expressing it and doing it daily. But before we learn to do that, there is that method similar to what Ev is explaining, and this is to literally in your mind make a decision and say yes to it, and then quickly tune into what the heart says, but before mind has another opportunity to say anything. So it's like this first moment after you had already said yes, what does it feel like? Does it feel like the heart says yes as well, or the heart says no? And pretty much coherence means that mind and heart are saying both yes, or they're both saying no. If one is saying yes and another is either saying no or not responding, if it's not responding, it means more data is needed. So we don't make a decision from that they are not fully in tune place. So then we can look deeper what's underneath.
So one way is this how Victor just said, and about as Ev confirmed, asking the body and observing the reaction. Yeah, but asking the body when you have already made a decision, you state, okay, I'm going to the to this event. How do I feel? I'm not going to this event. How do I feel? Uwe said when he decided in his heart that he's going to Zimbabwe, something fell off. Yeah, so this is really. The experience has been validated by your own kind of soul and soul's journey, that you have managed to pick up the crucial moment of decision making, and you have made a decision that is for your evolution.
But it's super important not to make a decision in your mind, I think as if I made the decision, yes. It really is crucial to make the full decision and say, yes, I'm going, and then to observe. Because if you're thinking in your mind, I'm going to Africa, well, still the body cannot feel anything because you're just thinking about it. So it's really making fully a decision. So you are in the world, you are in the history line in which you are already doing it, and then observe the heart. So that's different. It's very important to go that far. Hannah wanted to ask about this.
No, I just wanted to, because for me, when it's, maybe not with daily decisions, sometimes also, but with bigger ones, I have to jump. I feel so much energy bubbling up from inside. When something is like really, I feel from inside, this is yes, this is a good decision, I've done that. Then I have to kind of make a quick sound or jump, or I feel like something is, I don't know, so energized.
Yeah.
So
those are easier.
You
totally.
all have a specific way, and this is what we wanted to tell, that you do have a way how to recognize your own like true yes. For example, sometimes when I'm in meditation and I'm contemplating millions of opportunities that I have, what makes me understand that it's the right one, I have automatic inner smile, but not the outer smile also, but I have the smile on the heart, but big and broad smile on the heart. And then, okay, I've nailed it. And then there's like absolutely no doubt whatsoever. So when you recognize how your heart is saying yes, is it tingling? Is it jumping of joy? Is it tears? Is it, wanting to do it immediately? Is it something bubbling or bursting? You have to identify that one indicator or establish it if you don't have it already. But it's important to have it on the side, because this is what we least know. On the
Because
other hand,
mine will jump in and kind of offer unsolicited advice.
on the other hand, we do know how mind expresses itself. It always comes with some rules, comma, but, comma, because. So it always gives a whole discourse of why not. And most often than not, it says why not. When you're excited about the idea, you can hear your parents saying, but have you thought about this and that? No, you can't, because have you thought about? It invites you to think and overthink about the question, to hit you out of the idea.
Out of the heart.
Because it might have some unpleasant experience included, because you're not 100% sure that it will be all good and perfect.
But we know one thing: the heart does not have the words but or because. It's simply that does not exist in the heart. So heart, they're not even words. It is just the frequency that is uplifting, or there is a frequency that is kind of dull or kind of contracting.
So the worst scenario is when you are saying from the mind, yes, because, Amber, this is, I have to say yes to help someone because they have done so much for me. I say yes to this job because I don't have anything else waiting for me.
Because it's almost
and it
like
doesn't feel good.
It's a cage for the heart. It's really caging that bird and putting it in prison.
And there will be no energy, and it will turn out somehow bizarre, and it will be a mixed experience, sweet and sour maybe, but not concrete.
Unless we like that combination.
Well, I don't.
Sweet and sour soup.
So an entire something is always better than this half contradictory, because if you are saying this yes but no, you will actually invite this experience that will be half good, half bad, and the lesson also be half understood, half not. So at least if you have a convincing no, which brings you one line of experience, but it will be a very clear one, or a convincing yes that will bring another maybe ecstatic experience, but it will be entire. So try to, when possible, to have an entire yes or an entire no. Either you go like you own it, either you go fully for the no because you're really not sure and you can't hear any heart, you can't feel anything, and then you just say, okay, I say no and I mean it, that's it. I'm not able to feel anything or decide, so I say no, but I own it. I don't doubt it.
And
so make it your experience that if it has to come back another time in another form, it will. But if you also say yes, so Lisa, what are the consequences of making that decision and not following through?
I think she means about the test that we gave. So it's like making a decision and then checking with the heart. If it's a test run, then it's fine because it was part of your testing, right? Is that what you're asking? No.
No, if you say yes and then just don't do it.
Okay.
Well, that has a consequence, of course, because energetically, when you have made a clear yes, a timeline is opening for you where necessary ingredients for your evolution
and
are
energy.
On that, and energy is there. So it's like, the shuttle comes, the door opens, and it's supposed to take you somewhere, and you just don't get on the shuttle.
And the gas was used to get there, and like like the wheels have been put. The
Every participant has kind of put on their lives on hold to be there for you, and you just don't
and
show
then
up.
you don't show up. Well, then it gets written in the karma as the energy that you have to pay for. Because it has been leased and rented for you, and it came all your way, including people that were supposed to be there in that experience with you.
Because don't underestimate the power of your yes or no decision also on other people. How sometimes saying yes to someone can actually change their lives, or how saying no can also change their lives. Yeah, it always has an interesting consequence when it's made out of fear and insecurities. It throws off quite a number of destinies. Yeah, if you don't get on that bus to which you said yes and you commanded it into existence. So then you'll have to take another means to get somehow to catch that bus later further down the road. But you'll have to take a moto, a stop, and pay more expensive to something that actually organically came your way.
But tell a little bit about the energy that got generated and it was not used, because this is what's actually creating trouble.
Yeah.
You have asked for it, the universe has supplied this energy and it stayed unused, but it's within you. So it can go anywhere.
It ties in your talents. Usually what you are the best at, you will deny and say, no, it's not my thing, yeah? And you're afraid to act upon it. So when you ask for, let's say, new inspiration or new way of expression, or I say, I want to be of service, I want to express my talents. And then the idea comes right in the domain that you're not comfortable with. So you would automatically say, well, no, I don't like that, I am not good at it, I can't do it. Yeah. So you have asked the opportunity to express your talent, but you don't like the form because I'm not good at it, there's so many people better, so I don't want to do it. Well, then if you deny that opportunity out of insecurities of how it might be, whether it will be received, whether it will bring you money, you're actually saying, refusing the gift that came your way. So you'll have to get to that in some weirder ways. And the energy has been also given so that it happens easily. Well, if you don't use that, you'll have to get there by your own means. Yeah? In a way, if we take that bus back, if you don't get on the bus and be taken to the destination with ease, well, you'll have to walk that same distance.
Or run to catch up with the bus.
Yeah. So it's very important in those, after you have invited something or asked for opportunity, to actually follow up and show up for that opportunity, regardless of how scary it is.
So Anna is asking, what if you say yes and the universe says no? Well, it really depends on an example. What do you mean? Because if you have worked with the universe, it would offer you something that is already open up for you. So if you wanted something and the universe says no, it might be that the idea came from your mind and it's not something that is ready yet to happen. Well, it's certainly not ready to happen if the universe keeps saying no. So we have to see then what it is. Do you have a concrete example?
Well, yes, Cyprus project.
So your idea was to move to Cyprus and you have already lined up everything for your daughter to be there, tested for the school and all that, and all of a sudden the lockdown came. So we have already tuned...
Complete locking of Cyprus for Serbia since March, which is still locked, for us.
Yeah, so it means that there is another part of the work that needs to be done in order for this to open up for you. And we already spoke what it is. It is, and you actually said it yourself. It is accepting fully that situation in which you are, in order that there is no this resistance and kind of judgment about it, so that it can fully open. Because as long as there is this judgment, as long as there is kind of hatred towards it, it is a lesson, open lesson. So you remember that you actually understood it yourself. You have already shared that. So now it's only, once you understood it, is just to do it. And once that you do it, then the universe will align and open. And this lockdown is actually kind of locking all of us up in order to look inside and see what is it that we still have to remove, and what we don't need anymore.
Mm-hmm. When the universe puts everything on pause, this is where you take out everything that's in the cupboards and in the drawers. And how do you do the throwing out part? You are taking thing by thing and saying, okay, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. So you're always, for those small things, you are saying, yes, I keep, no, I don't keep. Yeah. So this is what we're invited to do in our lives, and this is one time in history. It doesn't happen on a daily basis, so it's an extraordinary circumstances, because we haven't been looking at that inside. What part of ourselves we still say yes to, which part we say no. So really making a choice of what you want to carry on in, let's say, the new world, and what not, because we don't stop usually to question under that angle.
So
we're more responding to things that are coming in our life from outside, so to speak.
So it's literally an opportunity to look at the deepest shelves of the cupboards, the ones that, those corners that we never look at.
Yeah.
But they have accumulated a lot of spider web, and there's some antiquated judgments there that are ready to go.
And the deeper cupboards are these very core foundations that we think it's us. Yeah, that's the real cupboard. That's the real kind of cave that has never been examined in this time. Because if you look back, where does the decision making come from? When we're kids, we're happy little creatures that are saying yes to all experience of life. I haven't seen a child that would kind of be grumpy or suspicious to try new things or to see new people. They are not. They're taking life as it comes. Everything is a flow in and flow out, and they go freely interacting and deciding, I like, I don't, I like, I don't, and they don't get stuck in these I like, I don't. They just experience. Tastes good, tastes bad. So they're building the database and allowing the life to flow through. And if only we were allowed to feel in more in that state of allowing the life to come through. I feel tired, I'm hungry, and just responding to what is real. Then we would not have lost this ability to feel from the heart. We put kids to bed at certain hour because it's convenient for us. But there are kids who are not tired at that moment. So they experience that their exploring of life is somehow stopped. And then comes comma, because it's time to go to bed. Nothing would happen to the kid if he just went to sleep when he's tired. Maybe it will be he stays awake at night and sleeps in the day, but that's the rhythm, and it's unchangeable. Nothing would happen. They would not starve themselves to death if they were not obliged to eat at 12. Yeah, they would eat when they are hungry and how much they want. So we have been mutilated from this natural capacity of discernment. That's why we have to go back and understand that the way we respond to life is exactly our parents' limited view of the world and what they consider possible, dangerous, healthy, and how they taught us to be. Yeah, because what I remember when my daughter, her first word was no. It was not mom, it was nothing else, it was no. But what that no meant, and I was very surprised as a first word, I was there like, let's note the first word, it will be something
No.
like, I was hoping it's mom and not dad, but it was no. And I was so disappointed. Then I thought, okay, I understood that the no was actually to my limitation on her freedom. So everything that I tried to impose because that was what I wanted, like those horrible baby foods that taste awful. Of course the baby says no. It's a horrible experience, the industrial baby food. When I do it, it's a yes. So the babies have super intelligence of discerning the truth, the real, the healthy, the profound alignment with life as it comes. And then I come with my idea about what the
What's
baby,
more convenient.
what's more convenient. And of course when I tasted that fish pumpkin mush, I said, but how even, how even, of course. And luckily they say no to that, because otherwise they would take it as a life experience. And if we could only, well, in this society it's very complicated to allow the natural flow of kids to evolve for those 7 first years. So I was battling against the natural flow of my children, and it didn't bring anything good but frustration on both sides. So when the kids start saying no, they say no to limitation of their freedom. But then when they hear the parents no, you can't wear the dress because it's cold outside. Or you have to wear the shoes because that's how we do when we go outside. So they don't really have a time to tune in and understand what it is that they would like. They have been given those yes and no with reasons. And this is where the mind is starting to be built. So you can understand that if you look really deeper in your cupboards of your own mind, the reasoning might correspond to how your mom or dad would present things to you. No, you can't because it will not bring you any money. And you are automatically transposing it as expression of the fears or doubts. It's very simple, but for sure you haven't had your way of saying no, because you've been given the default one. I catch myself saying no to things because I know that my mom also would say no to that, yeah? And it's so deeply ingrained, and we haven't really taken back that power of saying our own no in our own way. We're doing it how we have heard it on ourselves, being denied life experiences. So we can reverse it. We can go back to that time of hearing those no because and no but, and we can reverse it and say, okay, from this point on, thank you very much, parents, but I will own my way of deciding. I will own even the voice of my mind, even the voice how my mind says no to things or says yes to things. And you train and you develop your personal way of, it might be completely different from the one that you experience right now. When you go shopping and you have decided to buy a new dress, when you see something that's approximately along the lines of what you expected or what you wanted, you have this variety of reactions. Oh, I will buy this, and then comes because it's the price that I can afford, or I'll buy this because it's somewhat
practical.
goes, or because it's I don't have any other moment. And when you start convincing yourself, you're pretty sure that that dress will not sit well, or it will just stay in the cupboard forever. But when you go on and it's a full yes for something that you really like, then usually you would even if you have a lot of money, there's this voice of a parent that says, but it's too expensive. And if you catch yourself, who is saying no? This is what we want to understand. Who is saying no? Because we think that we are saying no. But who is saying, but it's too expensive? Who is saying that a beautiful life experience is unreasonable? Who is saying that, a 300 euro hotel to which we said yes the other, day is not worth the experience? Of course, when we say yes, we said, but of course, let's have one instead of three. But, saying yes to the experience that, the price, as long as you can physically actually pay it, that limitation, but it's too expensive, is most probably imposed, and unfounded.
So there is an interesting line in the movie Lucy, and we kind of recommend the movie Lucy, even though it has those violent moments, if we can kind of somehow look through the violent moments in order to get to what happens when we raise our brain activity and brain ability to some higher level. The first thing that comes off is everything that is me and my personality, because that my personality is nothing but obstacles. Once that we can raise over that, it's nothing but obstacles. At the same time, what Sadhguru is saying, Sadhguru says, okay, well, you know what your mind is? Your mind is a big garbage bin. It's garbage bin for the thoughts that have been thrown into it by anyone who has ever come next to you and spoken up to you. So either from the TV, either from internet, or from your friends, it's a garbage bin. So it's super useful, in the house. Garbage bin is one of these things that you cannot do without. You can do without the TV, you can do without the computer, without the phone, but without the garbage bin you cannot do. But the problem is when you start living in a garbage bin. If you decide that you want to actually lie down there and sleep, well, then it's a problem, because then all of these ideas out of garbage bin start permeating everything that we do. So those are like two parallels that are explaining a little bit what we are trying to achieve here.
So that's why when spiritual techniques that help to purify mind and clear out, at least to understand which thoughts are yours, which thoughts you own, and to weed out the ones that are not yours or have been suggested. It's very difficult to live with this overlay of constant but and because. At least if you own your thoughts, you can get closer to that heart and mind coherence, where they are actually not enemies, but they are, understanding each other more or less. And the mind can say, okay, heart, check it in. Like, are we going, are we not? Or mind can be really hand in hand with the heart, instead of being like, what are you again up to? Something expensive? Something scary? Something unsure? Well, I'm keeping it in check. So most often than not, where the mind is always kind of a supervisor of what folly the heart will come up with.
Craziness.
Because heart doesn't know the price of things. Heart just
and doesn't care.
doesn't care. So the mind is like a parent saying what you can, what you cannot do, and it's really limiting experience of your life. And it's taking this perpetual parent's voice. Don't do that, you'll be hurt, you'll fall down, you'll fall ill. Giving you reasons why not.
Heart wants a toy, and then the parent says we don't have money for the toy. Well, the child says, I didn't ask for money, I asked for a toy. I don't know anything about money. I'm just asking for the toy. So this is how those limitations are implanted. And Lisa is asking, what about the other extreme, saying yes constantly to things that are ultimately unfulfilling? Of course, this is another extreme.
Then you have to watch Yes Man.
Yes Man is a cool movie to watch, because then if you're saying yes to everything, you will go to a date with a woman from like Persian, whatever it was.
Persian dating site.
Not dating, it's even kind of getting married.
Yeah.
Find your Persian wife. you cannot say no to this, so you have to even do those kinds of things. So this saying yes to everything actually helps in the first period of breaking this thick mind level, mind wall that is out of fear saying no to things. So it's really helpful in the first period of training to even allow the heart to feel things. But after a while, we can get a little bit more precise and say yes to some things and say no to other things, but from the right place, from the place of that heart-mind coherence. But otherwise, super useful to first try saying yes to everything in order to even get out of that boring thing. What is it, Sylvia?
Sylvia is giving tips for
PersianWife.com.
anyone, but it might apply only to Uwe here. PersianWife.com or wife.com.
Yeah.
If in a limbo of decision.
Well, let's see if we can find some maybe Persian husbands or some like Saudi Arabian husbands or something.
By
like
the way,
that.
we have a lovely Persian helper here, so we really like Persian people.
Yeah.
So when you're in limbo of a decision, that means that if heart is silent and mind is too loud and you really can't take a decision, so one way is to take really hang yourself upside down. Hanged man. Okay, literally hang yourself upside down to see it from another perspective. Yeah. And if for those who are mindy people, do the lists, line in the middle, why yes, why no, and you'll see if you run out of arguments after 3 lines of no, then it's a yes. Yeah. And by kind of exteriorizing, don't ask other people because they will confuse you even more. When you put it out there on the paper, yes and no, and no, you will see which side flows, which side doesn't. It helps you to see your own subconscious kind of acting out. And in any case, if you really have to make a quick decision and you have no idea, then say yes. They say yes because you will say yes to life and you will own it and you will embrace the opportunity and you'll see what comes. As Hannah in Uruguay,
I like that rule actually. When in doubt, say yes because we are alive.
Okay, I have to show you something.
You want to draw?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I have
here
to
is
show
a
you
drawing
something
here.
that will help you get out of the limbo. So this is how we write say, yeah? So now if we write it from the other way around, what do you see there? If you say it out loud, don't pay attention to how it's spelled, but if you say this combination out loud, so what it gives is it gives say yes, so it's included in the word, and if you turn the no the other way around, yeah,
Turn it on.
So basically when we say no because we really want to avoid disappointment, but when we actually say, okay, give me the disappointment so I can learn from it and recycle it and let's move on, you're actually attracting all the forces that make it as smooth and easy as possible. When you're saying for a relationship that's so you're not sure that the person will not abandon you, there are no guarantees, but you're saying yes to it anyways. You're actually liberating yourself from being disappointed because you have said yes, it's not sure at all, it's improbable that we don't stay forever together, but I'm embracing the experience that it brings me, and it's the fastest way to understand what I need to understand in order to get a better one. Yeah, it's really embracing, instead of learning the rules of the game, it's actually playing it. Yeah, so
this is so much more alive. Yeah,
don't hesitate
like,
and don't spare yourself the little experiences that will show you exactly what you need to see on a live example. So when in doubt, say yes and turn the no to on.
Yeah.
or hang yourself upside down and see things from a different perspective. But basically, how life wants to fall through. Nobody will ask you, did you have a perfect life? Did you do everything right? Did you make all the right decisions in a series, It does not matter. What matters is that you have had experience.
How
you have
rich
lived,
was the life?
and
Yes.
you have survived.
Mhm.
The most interesting people is the one that actually have said yes to all kinds of experiences, and then they are enriched with every different or weird thing that they do, and that builds up that beautiful, colorful, faceted personality where a person is sparkling with life because there are no fears. They have tried all there is to try, and then when you let life flow through you, it's like a flush of detox from fears, because you understand that basically when you just follow your intuition, own your decisions, don't make a big deal out of them, don't resist any unpleasantnesses, just go through them with as much as joy as possible, well, what bad can happen to you? There's literally no fear left and no doubt left because you say, however I jump, I always fall on my legs, It doesn't matter. So it's super, super liberating, and when we can do it consciously, it's even more. Because it's about how many things have you tried instead of how many things have you done perfectly well.
Yeah.
So try living in different countries. It works. It doesn't, be really free in judgment of the perfectness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like a cat landing always on her paws. But even more than a cat, also then adopting the life of another animal and live it through that. It's literally crucial to try everything that that you have felt remote interest in.
Mm-hmm. Saying yes to new food, to new ideas, to new activities,
Exactly.
Exactly.
If you can't say yes or no, ask Sylvia, or throw a coin that has yes on both sides. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so we live in a world that has been given to us with these imprinted presets, we would say. So we're, making our ways through the presets, but in English language, those presets have actually a strong value. So Lisa asked about the language and how it affects our lives, yeah. So we have a whole list of words that we use daily that also condition our choice making, our decisions, and how we see and go about life, and we use them so often.
We can give few examples. We will take this as a topic for the tea some other time. But here we have some examples that are actually modeling those choices, because the words are not really clearly meaning what they are trying to, what they're pretending to mean.
Mm-hmm. And when we speak about independent choice making, this is what we are
Independence,
talking about.
yeah, there you go. You're
so,
independence.
Yeah, we're in dependence.
Oh.
So
okay, that. Yeah.
When you want to make an independent choice, this is where it loops you back into dependence to your conditioned mind. Yeah. So that's why there are some words to avoid, because they always have a backlink to dependence. Yeah. So when you try to say those things to liberate also is a one good one. When you try to liberate yourself from dependence on the mind, well, don't try to be independent, because it brings you back into dependence, and it has been designed so on purpose because it gives you impression that you are independent, but actually you are dependent as much as when you try to believe something.
So instead of being independent, it means you're just being free. And if when you're free, then you're actually acting it. You don't have to state that you are independent or something. As long as there is the word dependence in that, that means that we are dependent, because the universe doesn't know those little no words or those prefixes. Believe, yeah.
Believe is a huge lie. There's our Damanurian magicians actually told us it's a fact that the manipulating forces on planet, they cannot transgress a basic rule and lie. Yeah, but what they can do, they can put the lie in the most obvious place, and as long as it's said, it's like clearly stated, we never hid that we're lying. Yeah. So how about hiding the lie in the word believe? Because, you know, if you want to believe a lie, well, here you go. Believe. Yeah?
So those are the beliefs that we are holding. Beliefs, pretty much.
This helps to understand that the way you think, as we said, as Sadhguru said, and we say that what we believe is ourselves is quite a huge lie. It's not true until the moment that you decide yourself what it is. What are your thoughts? What is your connection to the heart? How does it feel? And then you get out of the conditionment of believing what is said. And you have many more. So when you look into the words that you use most, especially for releasing your conditionment.
That was Lisa's great example. Release. What do we need to release? So we are re-signing the lease. Lease of what? Lease to what? Yeah.
So
we are releasing. We are releasing our life to something.
Backlink to where it was before. It doesn't go away because it's encoded. It's a very magical way how words are encoded. So you release something to bring it right back where it was before. And for me, the most obvious way how we are conditioned and lied in plain sight that we don't even see is fears and lies. Yeah. So you see how the fears are getting through, where the fears are projected in. You know, this is the parent's voice of don't do that because you will get hurt. Yeah, the fears come through the ears, and the biggest manipulation on planet comes through the eyes. Media, dramatic images, everything. Lies are channeled through the eyes.
And yeah, Jill, that's the good question. How about the other languages? Yes, some of these major languages have been literally designed in this magical way so that they express other things and disempower. So, for example, Italian language, in opinion of our Italian magicians, is made for alchemy. And English language has been adopted at certain point because it was still not corrupted with these meanings somewhere around the time of French Revolution. But by now it has been very, very consciously mapped to these things. And this is why it became the world's most spoken language. So when we are dealing with really important topics, what we have to do is to double check what we mean by what we say, and pretty much to enter more energy into the command than what is already imbued from this collective misuse. So it's very much, all the real important alchemical commands or magical commands are not shared publicly. They are actually made in a secret language that only those who say those commands know. So if you want to say something and put the command to the universe for something that's very important to you, super double check what of the words you are using are actually muddling the meaning, and if needed, make your own words. Make your own, this pig Latin is what we know in US. This is like turning the words around so that they are actually different than how they were originally written, and really making your own words for what is really, really important to you. We use literally for some of our commands, we use Latvian because it has not been yet.
Nobody bothered to corrupt that one.
Because there's only 1 million people speaking it, so it wasn't feasible to corrupt it. So, like, literally when we use things for our dream words, for the word dream, we use a Latvian word because it's not kind of corrupted.
We have measured the frequencies of different words, and love is the worst one. Dream is also horrible. They're all under spell energy. So that's why when we said that manipulative forces are not allowed to lie, well, here you go, real lies, and it's just there, or real eyes. Yeah. And when we are tied to time, clock,
so we are
clock,
locked into time.
Sounds like being locked.
Like a lock, yeah.
So more of these notions we can actually free ourselves with. More we can get to something that's authentic, something that's really yours, at least customized, and that's the meaning of this whole lockdown, because it's time to re-examine the content of the caves, basements, and garages, and everything.
Lisa is asking what is the Latvian word for dream is sapni.
Yeah, we can type it here.
And for love?
So, as much as in English there are these hidden words within the words, for example, in Latvian, it means what it means. You can't use that word for anything else. There are no two words that sound the same. And in English, so one of the manipulations is to have these words that are written different, but they sound the same. So
I and I.
You will understand on the dollar bill, how I ties into the I, and why would it be that one single standing letter is same as the three completely unrelated letters? So it all comes to show that when you say this, you think it's yourself, but where it's mapped towards
is the all-seeing eye from the dollar bill.
Imagine how many people saying I and evoking and straight, whatever comes after I, tick, 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 goes down here. Especially when you make commands, magical commands for yourself, self-empowering commands, well, it goes straight here. And it's, well, we can't say it's a proven fact because, of course, there's nothing you can Google about it, but various sources have confirmed, and if you tune in,
but there's
you'll
nothing
find
to
more.
actually prove. You're actually really phonetically saying the same thing. And then we can check what are our results with that. Anyway, but this is just the topic we wanted to introduce. We can, it's, we won't go really in depth, but just when we are saying yes and no, it's clear, but when we are putting what we are saying yes or no to, make sure to also look at this level of meanings. So
just to understand where is you, where is truly your authentic frequency in the jungle of suggestions.
Yeah. So we'll go into that.
And the last thing that we wanted to share about the meaning of the words. So we were speaking about what we want to do.
A little higher. It's not in the picture.
So what we want to do is this plus
heart plus mind.
Yeah, working together. So check it out. This is really cute. When you have heart and mind working together, they are coherent. So they hear each other.
And they're also here.
And they're here.
Both of them are here.
Yeah. So this is where you can remember that they have to both be here and they have to hear each other. So if your heart and mind can co-hear each other, that's your tool for decision making forever. Especially if it comes with your own set of signals and warnings and blinking lights, however it's meaningful in your system, so that you can bravely make decisions without being afraid of the consequences.
Yeah.
And also embracing relationships, really, because we've been hearing, over and over and over, especially these past weeks, it seems like it's not like all women have relationship questions, but many have fears about being abandoned. Is it serious? Is it forever? Am I going to be disappointed, hurt? I'm investing for something, or I've been abandoned, anything. The question is how much of power you give to the idea of being abandoned or hurt, and how much power do you give to the actual experience, how much you say to the full spectrum of experience, and how much you would like to just cherry pick the ready cherries and to pick only the best ingredients out of the soup. Well, how about you say yes to the whole soup and you include also the onions, for example, and stuff that also floats in the soup, If you like the idea of the soup in general, if you like the person, why to single out the fact that it might leave you? You say yes also to the possibility that he might leave you.
And this topic is coming up literally now. Mars will be squaring in this month of August. All those 3 planets that we mentioned for several times that are going backwards. It's squaring Saturn, first Jupiter, then Pluto, then Saturn. And questions will be very, very active. And especially questions will be, who do we keep who is our tribe now? Who do we keep as friends? Who do we abandon as friends because they might have different opinions, different set of values? They are not awake enough, and those kinds of things. So who do we keep? Who do we let go? And it's interesting to look at it from this yes and or no perspective as well, because what are possible experiences that saying yes to those people would also bring us? If we have said to the universe, let them also speak, let the universe speak through them as well, maybe there's something that we can learn from that as well. So just notice about what's coming up to be seen in the month of August.
Well, hold on, strap yourself. It might be a little bit bumpy because the big yes and big no, if we're given this topic for today, it means that it will be very relevant and very soon. because we all have to say those global yes and no to lockdown, to masks, to agreeing to what's being force fed to us. It will come down to a very, very personal choice about things. So you be ready when that choice comes to you, because there will be many, many people saying the opposite of you. So find that space of your own truth and stick to that.
Yeah. So
Any questions?
that's what we had for today. So what are some questions, comments, anything that you have? Integral yes or no?
Yeah, integral
exactly.
yes or no, yeah. And when you have that integral yes or no, just stick to it. Really simple. Stick to it.
And final goal is to find that frequency of the heart and kind of always make those decisions from there, and understanding that our personality is nothing but the obstacle to the real living life.
So is it good time to start something? Well, ask your heart. Well,
but to start what?
It depends
it's a great
on what.
time to start things. But what would you want to share? What you had in? What's your idea about starting?
I think maybe not good idea to start something that has to last. Like laying foundations, maybe it's too dramatic as a background.
Tai, did you want to say what you wanted to start? You wanted.
Hello, people. Sorry, I had to put my earphones.
Yeah.
Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Yes. I don't know. Today I was just studying something else, and this idea came to my mind, and like to put myself in a position to share more with people, and not live like a hermit like I usually do. And it was really funny that you guys were saying about yes and no, and I said yes. Just feel like this burn in your heart, like this is a good idea, and then but and this.
Oh,
and
but
that,
yeah.
yeah, exactly. And then I went to the yoga class, and I was coming back, and I was thinking, okay, and what about because I know that it's not exactly the best time, like all astrological planets and positions, and I always take this into consideration because it would make it easier. So that's what I wanted to know, although I feel like this, yes, I don't have like exactly a deadline or not even to start, but I was wondering if how can I say, if at this moment would be, how can I say, convenient to start any move, to start something from the scratch.
Well,
on a burning ground, of course.
This is literally the reset for the whole humanity. So those kinds of levels that you are talking about now, expressing yourself more, putting yourself more there for people to actually get some of the gold of your experience, this is literally not even, it's always a yes. No matter what outside circumstances are, sharing your wisdom with the world is always a yes. And plus, in those challenging times, it is super yes, because there's going to be so many people running. Literally, Mars is literally now together with Lilith. And Lilith, you can imagine it as a planet that is a blindfold. So people will start feeling that they need to do something, but they will be completely blind. So they will start running like, like a chicken without a head, or, like with blindfold, trying to do something. So certainly there will be guidance needed to people who will act out of this burning desire to do something without even knowing what to do.
And especially increasingly disoriented. So whoever has a 1 gram more balance than someone else is of help, actually, to guide and calm.
So
and
knowing you, Tai, it will be super soothing to people to receive that guidance from your wisdom. So I feel a big yes.
I was just a bit worried because I think Mars is gonna start retrograding, and I have this huge issue with self-sabotage. And I was wondering, okay, maybe I might start and then I won't continue, and I'll start like putting like all the no's and buts and this kind of stuff. So it's good that today we had this
So,
Yeah.
wonderful meeting to give some
so,
clarity.
so you jump that wave and you start surfing, and then you
And then you
see,
see.
without those fears interfering with starting it. So,
And especially all the planets have only hold over you until you haven't kind of ungrade that zone. Let's say the Mars can push your inner saboteur as long as there is an inner saboteur. The moment that you understand that there is an inner saboteur, you can already control it yourself and saying, oh, I have buts and becauses in my head. Okay, so interesting. Why am I saying that? And then you go deeper. So you take the power. You actually grab that
energy out of it and plug it into where you want to go.
I caught you. That's it. So don't worry. Like it goes for everyone. Don't worry about what the planets are and where they are. At some point, you will have mastered all aspects of your life, and there will be nothing to.
Planets are important
with.
to look at as waves, as winds. So we understand that there are winds that are blowing, but it doesn't mean we're not going for a walk. This is super fertile ground to bring some reason and some calmness. So you know that there will be people who will need this calmness with wisdom.
Especially that you already said that you felt like, then you questioned, and now you're doubting. So first, we all have, regardless of our levels of connectedness and intuition, but we always have that first thought. The mind is much slower. You can take it as a rule. The mind is much slower than your body. So the mind will always be the second thought.
Actually, 4 seconds slower.
Your intuition, your first authentic feeling is the one that comes from intuition. Then mind catches up and
literally,
gives his idea.
yeah. Literally, the gap is 4 seconds. So when you're kind of feeling into that heart, it has to be within these first 4 seconds, because mind cannot react so fast.
So you can trust that gap as well.
Any other questions or comments? And if not, then we give you a big hug. And we thank you for being with us once again. And this is so helpful to actually hear your questions and to run them against little research that we have done. So cool. So say yes.
Say yes, and you can have a little personal challenge. Say yes to the first 3 things that are unlikely coming your way. Yeah, say yes. Well, it's what bad can happen. It will be an experience. Do this little game and see if you go to the end of a yes, what happens. Yeah.
Yes.
That's not the first yes. It doesn't count.
Well, you already said yes to this tea, so you created an experience for yourself without really knowing. And it was a little bit of a test. We have to recognize that it was a test to give a very minimal description, so the mind cannot really grasp anything, and the mind cannot decide whether I am interested or not in the topic. So we kept it vague on purpose to see who will be the wonderful people saying yes. And so thank you for playing the game and engaging and showing up.
And Lisa, yes, that topic of embracing death and having the clear relationship with it is coming up. So we will definitely deal with that in one of the next teas.
Yeah, and we have this.
I just meant in the sense that saying like the yes man, like the dice man, saying yes. It's like, well, have no fear of death when you're making these. You're saying, yes, I'm going to say yes to every decision that comes to mind. The universe might throw something very exciting at you.
Exactly.
Well, really, if you don't mind sharing, remember to share if you have said yes to something unlikely and what happened then. It's about playing with life and being so much more free and receptive to it, so that it actually can bring flow of events and freshness that you don't censor and just welcome in.
So big hug. Thank you so much for being here, and lots of love. And we see you next week. Mwah.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Bye.